I could walk across the lawn. I could make you think I'm wrong. But I've never been. And I'm mine. I could lose the race it's but I'm myself bad.
My name is Ned. I play in Glitterer, and we are on tour in Denver, Colorado tonight.
How are you liking Denver? Have you played here before?
Yeah, I've played here a few times throughout the years.
How did your childhood influence the music that you make now?
I have an older brother, and he got into punk when he was a teenager, and so he's 7 years older than me, and so by the time he was getting into stuff, I was just kind of finding my love for music to begin with. So I kind of had this juxtaposition of like hearing music through my parents for the first time, like, you know, the Beatles and Beach Boys and stuff like that, and then hearing stuff through my brother, getting exposed to like the Misfits and Minor Threat really early on, and so I think that had a lot to do with where I'm at now. I think I don't know, just I found a link between like the melody of these kind of classic bands and these punk bands that were more thought of as being just aggressive and you know, energetic, and I think that connection is something that really has pulled me through to the present day, and I'm always interested, even in songs that sound like they are not melodic at all. I'm still, I feel like there's some sense of melody to it. There's some sense of, I don't know, something pulling you through, and I think finding that as a kid is like what made music make sense to me, and what I've kind of been chasing ever since.
Nice. Is that why Glitterer has like a lot more like synthy and like musical parts as compared to like other hardcore that you've done in the past? I
mean, the synth stuff kind of came out of necessity. I was making music at home in my room, and I had a little MIDI controller, and I didn't really have access to a lot of other recording gear at the time, and so that was like, this is an easy way to kind of like diversify the songs, to get a bunch of like added textures in there. But I think, it has given a lot of like melodic shape to these songs that I don't know, it's just added another layer that I haven't been able to play with in the past. And so there probably is some truth to that for sure, but it wasn't something that I didn't start playing with keyboards to add like a new layer.
You weren't like looking for something?
No, it's just kind of, I was making music with what I had.
Nice.
And that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, cool. What is it like working on a solo project? I mean, I know it's not solo anymore, but compared to like working with family?
I mean, it's obviously very different. And there were things that I really liked about it at the beginning. I liked the challenge of it, because I feel like writing music is a strange process, you know, and I think in large part the best stuff comes from just being in a conversation with somebody, and I kind of wanted to see how I could do it just having a conversation with myself, of just writing something, putting it down, coming back to it, looking at it hopefully objectively, and then kind of refining it from there. And I like that challenge, but I like playing with other people more than anything. I think that's one of the best parts of music, is building that relationship with people, expanding on that, of having the ability to have these kind of, I don't know, these conversations with people without words,
Yeah.
of just playing something and having it make sense, and having somebody else who you trust and understand and agree with add their sensibilities on top of that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I'm very happy to be back doing that. Like it was never my goal to be like solo. It was, and I never referred to it as a solo project. I always just said it's a band with one member.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
like I always wanted it to be like that, and now yeah, we're back in a place where we have 4 people in the band, and we all write and we all contribute, and it feels nice and normal.
Do you feel like the new album is like more of a combination of everyone's ideas as compared to like previous things you've put out?
It's kind of tough. The last record was the first one we did as a band, and it was a collaborative effort, but it was a weird transition in going from a band that I had done by myself for, you know, a number of years and written a number of songs, to going to a band where everyone was contributing and trying to, I feel like, maintain this idea of what the band was without stepping on toes. And I was like, don't be afraid to step on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're in the band together because like we respect one another. And so I feel like this time around there were some personnel changes as well, and I feel like that changed the dynamic, but also I feel like we're just a little more comfortable now. A little more comfortable just throwing out ideas and I don't know, throwing out changes and trying things. But it's tough to track. You know, like I don't know what's more collaborative and less collaborative.
Yeah.
But this is, it felt like we were in a good spot for this one.
Nice. How have former bands you've been in helped you grow as a musician? Like transitioning from heavier albums to like adding more softer like vocals and stuff like that?
I mean, that's really tough for me to pin down because I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's not these are not conscious decisions that I make where I'm like, okay, I've done this, now I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like, I feel very fortunate to have been playing music for a long time and played music with a lot of people who I really respect and who I really admire. And yeah, I mean, playing in Title Fight for all those years like really informed my understanding of music and how to write it and how to play it and how to present it. And it was never a thing of like, we need to move on and we need to, I don't know, we never felt like we were maturing, you know, and I feel like that's a word that gets thrown around with music, in that it means that you've changed and you've grown or something, and we didn't conceptualize it in that way.
Yeah.
It was just like, we are fans of music, we are listening to new music, we are consuming new things, and it comes out in our writing. And also, we're human beings, we're experiencing new things, we're having new feelings, having new thoughts, and that also comes out at the same time. And so learning that at a young age was really important, and I'm still carrying those things with me today, you know, and again, yeah, it's not a conscious decision of how to change and where to go, but just accepting that those changes happen, and trying to allow them to, I don't know, allow them to be present but not overpowering, and not change because you have to change, but change because something is occurring in your life and you are tracking it through the music that you're making.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like music should be ideally some sort of attempt to understand yourself. And I feel like if you are trying to adhere to some standard that you didn't even set out to make, then like, I don't know if you're being true to yourself in that way. You know, that's tough. And so, yeah, I'm just happy to have learned that, I don't know, early on with my friends and continue to do it with my friends now. You know, like that's what we're just trying to do. We're just trying to play music and just try to be, I don't know, be honest.
Yeah. That makes me think of another question that I wrote down. Do you feel like part of a reason why you've pursued music or like succeeded professionally is like because your music is built on friendship?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Or like, is that what drives you?
That I can answer. Yeah, like success, I have no idea how to mark and how to measure. And it's honestly not something I particularly care about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do this because this is successful or like this is something that I mean, I guess maybe I pursue it in some part because I feel like I'm good at it, but it's not because I'm like, I don't know, yeah, like this is whatever, something I'm gonna impress other people with or whatever. I don't know, that doesn't matter. But yeah, do I think it like the sense of like community has driven me to continue to it? Yes, 100%. I think finding this space as a young person was really important to me. And I know a lot of people talk about like people come to the punk and hardcore scene because they feel like outcasts and they don't fit in anywhere else. And I believe that to be true in large part, but at the same time I also feel like, I don't know, if this clicks with you and it makes sense to you, I think there's a lot of value in it, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of things that I still just like am deeply moved by in the music scene, and I still really care about it, and yeah, I'm still like a huge believer in it, and so that belief still drives me to be involved as much as I am to this day, and that is the basis of a lot of my friendships and a lot of my relationships with people, you know, and I feel fortunate to have this in my life, and I feel fortunate to be able to continue to do it, yeah, and I feel like all those things are true because of the relationships that we've made and that we continue to make and that we continue to honor through just music.
Yeah. Have you had any odd experiences on tour so far? Like any fun stories you can share?
You know, somebody just asked me this recently. We stayed with a friend in Portland, and that was the first thing they asked us. And I don't really have an answer to it. This tour's been pretty, I don't know, easy going, and that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. I think the craziest thing was, and this wasn't even like a crazy tour, like I don't know, encounter, but we were supposed to play Reno, and there was a crazy snowstorm out that way, and an even crazier snowstorm in Tahoe, which is exactly where we had to drive to get to the next show, and so we had to cancel that show sadly, but we were able to book a show in under 24 hours in Bakersfield, California, and we played a DIY spot out there.
Nice.
And that came together like so smoothly and easily, and we got to play this great space, and we got to like go to a new city that Glitter has never played before, and yeah, it was, I don't know, that kind of thing like really invigorated me in a way. It's like, I don't know, the power of music is really still apparent, and like the scenes are still alive, and you can still tap into these things, and you could book a show in 24 hours and have it be cool and get to meet new people. Like I was really excited by that. Yeah, but like funny experiences, no, like not. Unfortunately, I don't have anything really funny to report. We just kind of, we drive and we play music, and then we go to sleep, and then we repeat the next day. That's about it.
Nice. I'm honestly happier to hear that than like something terrible happening. I guess like along with that, what's the best city or venue that you've played on this tour, or like just in your life?
You know, we played Cheyenne, Wyoming last night, which I was really excited about. We'd never played there before, and we played in the back of a shop, and it was just like kind of my ideal form of music, and it was just like a small little space like just for the community, and it was like, I don't know, that was something that got me really excited. But I don't know, I don't like picking favorites because it's tough. Like this tour has been really great. There's been a lot of really great shows. We were playing a lot of cities that I really loved, and I have a lot of friends there, and places I love to visit. And you know, we've been fortunate enough to travel quite a bit in the last couple years with Glitter, doing that, you know, internationally. We got to go to Japan and Southeast Asia a little bit ago, and we went to Australia, and we went to South America and Latin America, like all within the last year and a half or so.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so like that was like, getting to go to those places was really, I don't know, humbling in a way, and it, like we played some amazing shows, and we're very fortunate to have been able to do that, and we're just, I don't know, but realistically, like I truly love playing music, and having the opportunity to play music anytime, any place is something that I'm genuinely still excited about.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It's like kind of a non-answer, but yeah, I'm just happy to any time we get to go on tour and we get to go and play shows.
Like just the experience of performing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like genuinely content to do that.
Nice.
You know, touring is really tough, and it doesn't get much easier as you get older. But I'm like willing to put up with the stuff that I don't like to be able to play music every night. Like that still pulls me through.
Yeah, that's great. This also, I mean, we were talking about like community and friendship, but other than performing or touring, how do you feel like your music brings people together? Or I guess like how do you seek community in like hardcore scenes?
Yeah, I can only answer this from my own experience, you know. It's tough to say how, like, the first part of the question is really tough because I feel like you kind of put something out into the world and you can't control it, and also like, I don't know, I don't really know how other people interact with it, you know. All I can really say from my own experience is how we do stuff in our own local scene and how I've interacted with people in my local scene, you know. And it's, I don't know, I think early on when I was a kid and getting into punk and hardcore, I feel like just finding other people who were like excited about this music was like, that's all I needed. You know, it's like, oh yeah, like you like these bands, you have seen this video on YouTube, you like this stuff, like, okay, we're friends.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and that was like I don't know, that was just cool and exciting to find other people who have an interest in this thing that seems so, I don't know, alien and hard to understand. But as I've gotten older, I feel like the stuff that brings me, I don't know, together with other people is just like an understanding, like far beyond the music. And just, I think ideally this music should present an alternative way to live, you know. And I really do believe in that, and I feel like the people that I really feel at home with and the people that I really feel close to are people who share that belief. And we go to shows because we love the music, and the music still means a lot to us, of course. Like, music is number one.
Yeah.
Like, for real, music is like that, like the top of every mountain for me.
Yeah.
But like right below that is this sense that through music we can do other things. Anything is really possible, whether it be the way that you, I don't know, present your music, the way that you, the channels in which you distribute your music through, the places where you play, like all these things exist to support the music.
Yeah.
And the music only, you know. This is not something that should be driven by profit. This is not something that should be driven by fame and success. And to have found that idea and to find other people who are striving for that same idea, that has built like a really strong sense of community for me. And it's still very empowering to me to this day to meet people who are trying to do those things. You know, it's like we're just all trying to present music to people because it's important.
Yeah.
And when I meet other people who want to who are on that journey themselves or who want to join us on that journey, I feel like this goes back to the thing about the Bakersfield show. You know, like it feels empowering because like we're just trying to do this simple thing.
Yeah.
We're just trying to play music, to find community through music, to just share these moments. Yeah, and it's I don't know, I feel very fortunate to be able to have been doing that and to continue to do that to this day.
I mean, I think also like if you're not pursuing success, it's like if you're in it for the right reasons, you're gonna succeed anyway.
Yeah.
You know, in your own way.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not being rich, you know.
No, I feel like success is can be so simple.
Yeah.
I feel like writing a song that you like could be the most successful thing in, you know, like in the universe.
Yeah.
When you do something that you feel, I don't know, is good, that like I don't know what more success you can ask for, you know. And then when you find people who are trying to do that same thing, and when you find people who are making things that you respect and respect the things that you make, it's just like, I don't know, maybe the idea of success changes. Like, yeah, I don't know, we want to go on tour and find more people that align with our ideas and are creating things and doing all this stuff. But realistically, the success is just like some form of contentness within yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's simple, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's like the most valuable thing of all.
Yeah.
It's just finding that within yourself, finding other people who are looking for that, and finding people who support you and you can support in those journeys together.
Yeah, and like being happy just where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah, because I don't know, I think a lot of people come to music and this world of touring as like I don't know, like a career. Mm-hmm. And I, you know, I'm not here to critique those people by any means, because I wish that if that's what they want, I wish them success in their journey for sure. But this is not a kind of thing that you can do and expect a traditional narrative career arc. It's not like you're gonna go, we go on tour this year, we play to 50 people, and then we come back the next year and there's 100, and it's like this kind of perpetual growth thing. I don't believe that to be true.
Yeah.
I think you have to do it because you want it, you know? And so if you're looking for that traditional success, music is a really tough place to find it. And, you know, I think if you want it, like I wish you the most success in the world, but I feel like, I don't know, that's not what I'm interested in. And I don't think this is like I'm happier because I'm doing this by any means or anything, or I do it this way, but that's just the way I want to do it. You know?
Do you have like or I guess like when you were a kid, did you have career paths in mind for what you wanted to do, or was music like in the back of your mind as something that you wanted to be really good at?
Yeah, I mean, so because my brother's 7 years older than me, he was in punk bands that did a little bit of touring when we were kids, and so I like knew you could go to Europe. I know you could make a 7-inch, I know you could do these things, and that's really what I set out to do at a young age. I'm like, I just want to do that. I want to do a 7-inch and I want to do a tour. And I'd love to go to Europe. And so like that was like really all I ever thought was possible, and I was like, yeah, cool, we can do that. I know, you know, like I believe that we can, and I like had the, you know, I had the example right in front of my face, and so that felt very possible. But I never thought of it as like what I'm gonna do with my life, you know? And so yeah, like I went to college right out of high school. I dropped out of 1 semester, but I was like, I don't know, I did have like, I just kind of figured like you get a job and then you do music in your spare time, and somehow we were able to tour a lot and figure it out. And granted, like we lived in an area that was very affordable, and we lived with our parents for a long time. But yeah, like we were able to figure it out, and now I'm at a point where I've been able to figure out how to live an alternative life and get a job that allows me to tour and go on tour and do these things and figure it out. And I'm very content to be able to continue to do that. Yeah, and it was never a thing of like I have to do this. It's just like I just want to play music, so I just kept figuring out how to play music. You know.
And then you got here. Eventually.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else you have to add to that?
To that answer?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's you just kind of figure it out.
How has maybe like in your personal community or scene, or just like how you've watched hardcore and punk, like how's it changed since you first started performing?
I mean, I've been doing this since I'm 13 and I'm 35 now, so it's a long time to be involved in something, and there's been a lot of changes in that time. But you know, like when I got into it, and especially being from a small town in Pennsylvania, things were just more quaint, you know, and also I just think things were very different at the beginning for me. I think touring was more normal. I think a kind of like underground network was more apparent, and these things kind of like disappeared by the time I really started touring in earnest in like 2008 and 9 or so. And I think the internet completely changed the way that we do things. and it just kind of went from a culture where it was like, if you're in a band and you want to get the word out, you go on tour, to like, if you're in a band, you put your demo on MySpace. And then kind of by the time, like the early 2010s rolled around, it's like, if you're in a band, the best thing you could do is you play a fest, because everyone in the world goes to these fests, and then you don't have to tour.
Yeah.
And you don't have to take 6 weeks off work to go and like potentially lose money. You could just go to a fest, play to everybody that would go to see your shows in those towns.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like can circumnavigate that whole thing. And that was like a really big change. And now at this point, I don't even know what to make of it. Things are so different, you know. Obviously people are talking about the rise in popularity of hardcore, just like the kind of the boom in shows, and the kind of like attendance at shows being like seemingly at an all-time high, across the board and across the country. But I don't know, these changes, like I see them from afar, but the scenes that I've been involved in for the vast majority of my life are not scenes that have really seen the benefit of these changes. You know, like Wilkes-Barre and Kingston, where I'm from, is such a small town that like we went from having a lot of touring bands come through and some independent venues to like having maybe one venue and not that much stuff, and like it was like, I don't know, we were just like fighting for relevance. And now living in DC, it's I don't know, we're like, we have nice venues, we have professional venues that touring bands come through, and we have a lot of great independent DIY punk places as well that are doing shows. But these are not places that are like, I don't know, we're not selling them out with like thousands of kids and like seeing these things. It's like, it's the same people that have kind of always been coming around, and luckily in the last couple of years it's been a really cool new crop of young kids, but it's not like this huge boom. It's like, this is like I don't know,
stadium shows.
And I don't know, I think some of these kind of larger hardcore acts come through on tour, and I've been to some of those shows and they do well, but the stuff that I feel most invested in and the stuff that I really keep an eye on is the small stuff. And that seems to have always been doing kind of well, you know, like obviously it comes in waves, but there's always a scene for that, and that's just what I feel the most invested in and the most a part of. But yeah, there's like so many changes over the years, and it's like impossible to track, and it's also at a certain point it kind of feels like I don't know, it feels like somewhat like irrelevant to take note of, because it's going to inevitably change again and again. And I am a believer that the young people in the scene should be the ones driving the change, and they should be the ones that are going out there and saying, this is how it should be done, this is how we should do it, and this is how it is. And I'm kind of over in my own world doing what I think it is and doing it how I think it should be done, and like anybody that wants to come over here, like come through, like we'd love to have you. But I'm just kind of like waiting for young people to like rise up in anger and be like, we don't have to do it this way, we can do it however we want, you know. And it seems like I don't know, people are it's a really cool time to be involved in music. I just am always waiting for, I don't know, the underground to really take hold again, like in a serious way. And I'd love to see that happen again. It kind of feels like that's been eroded over time. But I believe it's still possible. You know, I believe you could still do it. And so things have changed, they will continue to change, and I'm just going to be doing my own thing.
Is that why you have like played smaller venues on this tour, is just because that's like your preference, or just like that's the option, you know?
I mean, a little of both. That's obviously our preference. I don't know, I like playing places that feel attached to something, that feel a part of a community, that feel like they are supported by the local community and they support in return. They offer a place for bands to play, they offer a place for people to go, you know, and those things, like I would always prefer to be in that kind of space. But when, I don't know, tour is sometimes you take what you can get, and sometimes it's also like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't mean to poo-poo these other venues, because like it's tough. You go on tour and I don't know, we're taking time off from work, and we have to be able to pay our rent when we go home. So like, yeah, we play places where they are maybe a little more professional, and they're, I don't know, whatever, and they can afford to pay us some more. But I don't know. These are like strange decisions that I like really agonize over.
Yeah.
And I'm just always trying to do what we can, what feels right, and what makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely always trying to, I don't know, just be involved in what feels right and real.
One of my last questions is like, after shows or after tour, how do you like wind down, especially with like vocals and that sort of thing?
I do not have any sort of knowledge about how to treat my voice, and I should at this point.
I was wondering that, because you've been screaming for a long time.
Yeah, it's I started doing vocal warm-ups like a year ago.
Okay.
And I
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, somebody recommended a 5-minute YouTube video to me, and I've just been using that. But
Nice.
like I don't really know. Like in terms of like my personal life, I used to be like I would come home from tour and I would need like a couple weeks just like kind of by myself.
Yeah.
Because this is like social overload for weeks on end. You know, you are less than 5 feet away from somebody for 24 hours a day. We're on tour for 6 weeks right now, you know, so like it's not a lot of alone time, and I used to really need to recharge my batteries, and now I don't need it as much, which is kind of nice. But I think I've just learned to adapt in a different way. But I don't know, it's just one of these things, like you kind of go on tour for however long, and you just like inevitably beat yourself up for the entirety of the time that you're out, and then you get home and you kind of just have to pick up the pieces and then like return to normal life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of personal to everybody who does it, you know? So yeah, for me it's just like I just try and return to my normal life. I just get back to work, I just hang out with my friends, read, go on a run, that kind of stuff. And then for like my musical self, I don't know. I feel like my philosophy with like my body on tour has always just kind of been like, you beat it into submission, which is probably not a good way to do it. But it's like, I don't know, I have to do this.
Do you wear like ear protection?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started wearing earplugs when I was really young, so I could hear myself sing more than for protection. I am now an advocate for earplugs, just because I don't know, having tinnitus sucks.
Yeah.
Not being able to listen to music at a certain point sucks.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I want to protect that, but also do whatever you want to do. It's your body. You can do with it what you please.
Do you lose your voice like on tour, or are you just like goated?
The thing is, like, what I used to do is basically would like blow my voice out like 3 shows into a tour, and then with Title Fight we obviously had 2 singers, so I would kind of like the 4th show we would do like a Jamie heavy set.
Oh, okay.
And I would take it easy, and then by like show 5 my voice would be invincible for the rest of the tour.
Oh, dang.
But I was told that like every time you lose your voice, you come back at like 1 level lower.
Oh.
But that's probably for like people who actually sing, and I don't know how to actually sing. I'm not a good singer.
I don't think that's true.
Thank you. But I'm like, I don't know, I just go for it.
Yeah.
And but now that I'm the only singer in the band, I don't have that option.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know, I really try very hard not to lose my voice anymore.
Okay.
And that's like, okay, I guess I'll try these vocal warm-ups things that people are talking about. And like I drink tea now, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really have good advice, and I try not to give advice because the voice is a particular thing.
You feel like you might screw someone up.
Yeah, it's like scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of have done what works for me, and I don't
So you're
believe
good at
that's enough.
screaming, but you don't know why.
I don't know how to do it. There are
Just
people.
do it?
Yeah, there are people like there are people whose professions are teaching you how to do that appropriately so you don't damage your vocal cords and you can continue to do it. I have no idea what those people are talking about. I have no idea how to do it. I've like watched some of these videos about like you're supposed to sing over the pencil, like something about like your diaphragm. I'm like, singing is one of the most frustrating things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it works sometimes and why it doesn't work other times.
Yeah.
I just go for it.
Yeah.
I just like, I try, and then like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I just sing, you know?
Yeah. I think this might have been a bad question because I don't want people to take what you're saying and try it at home.
This is not advice.
Yeah.
This is my own personal experience, and it's often wrong. I would say almost exclusively wrong. But yeah, it's like people have asked me, and I give the response. It's like I don't give advice because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the body is a weird thing. And you just have to understand your body and try to figure out how it works.
Yeah. Do you feel the same way with like instruments, like bass, and like did you just teach yourself, or is that something that you like tried more seriously to understand?
My relationship with that has changed over time because at the beginning, I came from playing other instruments first, and I was involved in music from a very young age. And so I picked up a bass, and I had fiddled around on my brother's guitar a little bit, but I kind of knew how to play it like pretty quickly. And then I kind of like, as I got older and I got more serious about playing, I like took some music theory classes in high school, and I kind of like disavowed it because I'm like, I don't want to take away like the magic of music. And then I've kind of returned to it a couple times since. But realistically, my philosophy with playing music, like instrumentally, is often like I want to know my instrument so well that I don't have to think about it. I want to be able to play and not have to think about where my hand is.
Yeah.
And be able to do that. But at the same time, I still want to be kind of like I don't know, still in awe of the instrument enough that I could surprise myself with it.
Yeah.
I still like to play a note and be like, don't know what I did there, that was weird.
Yeah.
You know, and like I like to fuck around when I play. I like to like noodle, and I like to just like try stuff out, and so I like to be surprised and play a wrong note, but I also like to, or quote unquote wrong note, you know, but I also like to know in my mind like I'm going to play this and I know how it sounds.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like when you sit down to write, it's nice to be able to like move around and be surprised.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing live, I want to be like very certain.
Yeah.
And
especially when you can't hear yourself.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, I think that's the thing, is like we came up playing venues where it's like there were no monitors, there were no like, or if there were monitors, they didn't really work and we didn't know how to use them. And so like, yeah, you just kind of had to learn yourself and trust yourself to be able to do the things that you want to do. Yeah, and that just comes from time and practice.
Yeah. How long have you been playing like bass in years? Do you keep track?
I guess it'd be 24 years now.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're like, do you feel like you understand your like fretboard now, or is it still?
I started taking lessons again in the pandemic, and I really wanted to understand theory, and I kind of had these conversations with my teacher, who we were talking about these things about like the way in which music unveils itself to you through the fretboard, and you could like look at a fretboard and you could see how the patterns interact.
Yeah.
And you could see how you could go from this scale and mode to this scale and mode, and how like they are connected.
Yeah.
I don't really like visualize it that way, and I can't comprehend it that way, because I think if you're approaching it from that way, basically your knowledge of theory and music has to be so intuitive that when you play, you don't think about it. Mm-hmm. You are just going off your knowledge, and you know that I'm going between these modes, and I know they interact well, and I know that I'm playing this note, and I'm now transitioning to this thing, and like you just
jazz, like improv.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a master of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a master of that. But I feel like I have a knowledge of the notes without the language and without the understanding of theory, just from playing for so long. And so I don't know. I just like to mess around and see what happens, you know.
That's a good way to remember too. Like, if in your mind you make a mistake, you're gonna remember what you did more than if you're just doing what you always do.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. These scales are social constructs. Which is like such a dumb college thing to say, but it's like, there's 2 points to make. One, there's really no such thing as a wrong note, and two, on a fretted instrument, if you play a wrong note, quote unquote, and I'm stealing this from a Victor Wooten interview that I watched, if you play a wrong note, the right note is one space away on either side. So it's like everything is correct. And also, to return to these conversations I had with my teacher in the pandemic, like, basically you can learn all this theory and all that really matters is what's right to you. You know, like, you could break the rules and it's good and it sounds right and that's cool.
And maybe you get something better out of it.
Yeah, like, I think people obsess over, like, the Beatles chords and, like, the Beatles song structure, and a lot of it was really fucking with theory of using these, like, what do you call them? I forget the proper term, but it's like replacing a chord, like in Imagine by John Lennon. I'm pretty sure he plays like an E minor where it should be an E major, if I'm correct, if I'm remembering correctly, but that's like a replacement chord, and he's doing that, and it, to me, that makes the whole song. And it's like, this is the most beautiful part of this whole thing, and this is technically wrong. You know, it's like, you do these things and it sounds right to you, you just move on and you just, like, mark it down and remember it and play it, and you find the people that also sounds right to them, and they, like, it makes them feel something. I don't know.
Well, it's also nice when you're listening to a song for the first time and you, because of, like, theory, can expect where it's gonna go, and then it goes somewhere different, you know?
And that's also really tough. Like, I don't know, you have guys like Brian Wilson who are, like, really so knowledgeable of this shit, and they could really, like, impress you with that. But it's like, I don't know, the way I think about music is the way that I think about, like, language, and the way that I think about life, in large part, is that you have 8 scales, you have 8 notes in a scale. You can only go to so many places. These options have been finite for millennia, and yet we still find new ways to present them, to move throughout them, and I find that to be really empowering. You know, and it's like, it's not about like unlocking the secret that nobody's found for, you know, thousands of years, because realistically somebody found it, and somebody, like, did it so long
like
ago.
A new color or something.
It's like, these things don't matter. But if it makes you feel something, and if it makes you feel moved, and it sounds good to you, that's all that matters. You know, like, I think in large part that is, I don't know, the goal is to feel something. And then find other people who feel that, maybe not feel the same thing, but also feel something from that. And then find that connection, find that community, and then move from there.
Does music, I keep thinking of other questions. Does music, like, is it really emotional for you? Like, beyond just lyrics, but just, like, chord progressions and stuff?
Yeah, 100%. This is another thing I saw online. Paul McCartney had this amazing quote where he's saying something like, there's no, like, science behind music, where that you put these 4 chords together and they have these properties, like, they're just chords. But you could put these 4 chords together and they relay emotion somehow. Like, oh, this feels sad, this feels happy, this feels whatever. Insert whatever adjective, but, like, you just put these things together and they create a tangible feeling, and that is, like, really amazing to me still.
Do you have any, like, examples, like, favorite albums or songs that, like, make you super emotional?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, like, stuff that I really connected with when I was young. There are some Beatles songs that, like, I don't know, give me chills to this day. 8 Days a Week, like, like I've been in my car and like violently shaken myself like to the point of being like I should pull over. Like this song is like so good. There's a lot of, I don't know, just like any of my favorite bands still like move me to the point of like getting goosebumps, of like feeling like understood in the universe. Like, I don't know, I'll listen to Fugazi and just be like, everything is right in the world, like everything makes sense. I'll listen to Gorilla Biscuits, I'll listen to Youth of Today, I'll listen to, I don't know, I don't know, any of these bands that have been like really important to me throughout my life, I still deeply connect with them, you know, and it's still like, I find them to be very powerful to this day.
I feel like nostalgia like adds to it too. Like over time, they're only going to become more important.
Yeah, and I do try to resist nostalgia to a certain extent because, I don't know, this is moving far away from your question, but we're living in a time when people are like consistently trying to capitalize on nostalgia, and I feel like that's nothing new. Like people have been doing that forever, but maybe it's just that I'm at a point in my life where they're capitalizing on the nostalgia of my youth that I'm especially skeptical of. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to look at these things as like things were better then, because realistically they weren't. They're the same. Things have always kind of sucked and we've always tried to find our way through.
But just knowing that like those bands have been there through time with you, like as you've grown older.
But that kind of nostalgia, yes.
Yeah.
That I think is important because that's like your personal connection to something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like this kind of, I don't know, whatever, like big business nostalgia.
That's different.
Let's get rid of that. Like let's push that over there. But like your own personal connection to the thing, dive deeper into that. Like I believe that to be like really important. I don't know. You know what I do a lot in practice? I catch myself closing my eyes and remembering the way that our practice space was set up in my parents' basement when I was 11 years old, and being like, trying to reconnect to my 11-year-old self, and be like, I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just trying to play music with my friends in a carpeted basement, and it's like, you know, like, of trying to find that thing again, you know, because I feel like, I don't know, there's just, there's some like innate truth that I'm still trying to unlock in those like simple moments, you know, and like I think a lot of this stuff, like we get into it because we just like it. Like, I don't know, music sounds good. Yeah. These songs are cool. I like it. I like the way these people dress. I like the way these people move. Like, these things have all attracted us to music, but there's still something beneath all that that I'm still like, I feel like I understand it a little better, but there's still like an amazing mystery to it, to me, that I'm trying to unlock. And I'm like, I don't know, what drew me here? What am I doing? Why do I feel these strong feelings about these songs? And like,
I feel like, sorry.
I love to try and figure that out still.
Yeah, like looking to you as a kid, or like in your 20s even, I feel like you knew things then that you've forgotten, you know, that you have to like remember. Yeah. And I don't know, like maybe what you're figuring out you already knew at one point. Yeah. You just didn't know how to vocalize it. Yeah, totally. Picasso has this quote about like, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's essentially like, you're a great artist when you don't know how to draw as a child, and then you learn how to draw and you lose it, and then you have to return to being like a child again. And I feel that way about, like what you're saying, like about just kind of your general understanding of life. There are certain things that like, and I know this through like my interactions with my own family, of having, you know, young family members saying kind of profound things to me about like the way the world works, about the way the world is unfair, about how like, I don't know, war is omnipresent and terrible. Like, like these, like we're unlocking these like simple truths all the time. And then we kind of intellectualize them and, I don't know, kind of push them to the side and forget about them. But I don't know, there's just something about those simple little things where it's like, I don't know, we're all trying to understand these like simple truths that we learn as a child and, I don't know, seem to kind of forget. And it's and I think there's something about music that like you could quickly tap into those things, you know, and it's I think in part
that's why it's really special. It's like, to me, music is often the quickest route back to those feelings.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's just, I hear a note and I'm instantly back there, and I'm like trying to sort out those feelings that I thought I knew as a kid and now I don't know, but I'm trying to understand, you know, like it through a different lens or something.
Yeah. Okay. My last question is just like a fun one. And I don't know, we were talking about this in the car. Do you have like a favorite pit move? Like a mosh pit move? Like to see, or when you were younger, were you up in the pit?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, were you a crowd killer?
No. My preferred mosh move is the skank. So people refer to it as the two-step. I don't like that word.
Okay.
But yeah, I think, I don't know, when I was like a teenager, my friends and I would watch YouTube videos, mainly from like CBGBs in the late 80s, and like analyze the dancing and be like, that's a sick move. And then we would go to the next show and we would try out these moves, you know, and like, and it was, I feel like moshing is like a super important ritualistic dance, and it's all about like self-expression and all about like, I don't know, this attempt to like rid yourself of anger in this weird way or something. I don't know. But the stuff that I felt like most attracted to, and the stuff that I still love, is the stuff that feels like it has style behind it or something, you know? And so that's why I feel like the skank is a move that's like, you could do it in many different ways, and it's, I don't know, I think it just looks good, and I think it's cool, and I think it's like,
you can do it to like any song.
And it's like, I don't know, you look at like Bad Brains doing it, like HR skanking like, you know, CBs, and you're like, yeah, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, you see like, I don't know, youth of today, like, oh my god, like Ray Capo doing it at like City Gardens, and like, you like these things I like are burned into my brain because I watched them so much as a kid, and I still love it, and it's like still important to me.
Nice. What about like on stage moves, like jumping, or like what do you like to do on stage?
I mean, I don't know. It's not like something you plan out.
Do you just like goof around?
I'm not like I don't understand my body, which I guess returns to the question about like singing and stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And I often almost fall over or do fall over because I'm just like,
cool.
I mean, like,
realize it?
No, there's intention.
Okay.
And I'm like trying to do things, but a lot of the times I'm like flailing my body around, and I like wind up on the floor. But like, I don't know. I'd like to think it's not a thing where you go out and you plan all these moves, but you kind of like unlock them as you go.
Yeah.
And there's moves that you clock in your head. Like there's a move that Ian does with Fugazi where he kind of does this jump forward and he kicks out. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool move, clock that.
Yeah.
There's a move that Walter does all the time where he like keeps his neck super straight and he kind of like lurches over. I'm like, yep, I'm tracking that. Like, you like note these moves, and I don't know, sometimes they just like, they come out. I don't know. But yeah, it's not a thing of like, okay, at 38 seconds in this song, I'm gonna hit the Walter. It's like, no, it's just, I don't know. I feel like
how you push your voice to the limit, do you feel like you push your body like physically too?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and that's also not a conscious decision. It's not like I'm going to go crazy tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I love the music. I believe in the music.
Do you get like super excited though? Like, do you feel like that helps?
Yeah. It's, and I mean, I feel like when shows are good, I am, I don't know, more inspired to, I don't know, to be more active or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's not something I can track in real time, but I don't know. I love playing music, and it moves me to the point of physical motion.
So it just comes with the territory.
Yeah. It's like this, it feels, what I'm about to say, it feels like it's a lie as soon as you say it, but it's like, I don't do these things because I think about them or because they look cool or because I want to be perceived a certain way. Like, I am doing them because I am moved to that point.
Yeah.
You know, like when I'm not feeling well, when I'm not feeling particularly, I don't know, like, okay, if I'm like physically sick or if I'm just like having a bad day, I have a harder time finding that motion.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like when I feel good, when people are into it, when I'm feeling like connected, yeah, I feel like invincible in that way. And I feel like in large part that's what I'm chasing, of that feeling of like invincibility, and more so of like of invisibility, of like connecting with people and feeling like this one kind of large group.
Yeah.
That is like a
everyone
singular
feels
being.
The same way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that to me is often the most powerful thing about live music.
I
that
agree.
connection that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I always want. That's what I always aspire to. You don't get there all the time, but you can always try.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. It really means a lot that you're here. I don't know. I have nothing else to say, so you can cut it.